This is Take a Cue, episode 50.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, music educators. Welcome to Take a Cue, the podcast that helps you hit all the right notes in your band room, one rehearsal at a time. I'm Jen Wise, professional baton dropper and occasional miracle worker.
And I'm Eric Dunno. With over 40 years of combined experience teaching music in New Jersey public schools, we've seen it all. Unexpected key changes, missing mallets, and that one clarinet squeak at the concert that always seems to show up at the wrong time.
And I'm CJ Margolis, a first-year music teacher learning the ropes, finding my rhythm and figuring out which baton makes me look the most confident.
Whether you're brand new or a seasoned pro, Take a Cue is here to spark ideas, share strategies, and remind you why band directing is the best gig around.
From classroom hacks to performance tips, we've got practical advice, real stories, and just enough humor to get you through your next rehearsal.
And I'll share the lessons, challenges, and small victories of year one, so you can laugh, learn, and know you're not alone.
If you're enjoying the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps more music educators find us.
And stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Take a Cue Podcast. We love to hear your stories, swap ideas, and celebrate the wins, big or small.
So grab your baton, tune up those instruments, and get ready to bring out the best in your students and yourself.
This is Take a Cue.
50.
50. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
How have we done this?
I don't know. I sat down 50 times. So yeah, how did that happen? While, teaching our bands and raising our kids and playing our instruments and finishing college and, student teaching. And how did all that, go down?
I don't know how we did it. Especially considering that's not even taking into consideration the takeaways, those tiny episodes. We'll come back to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. What a cool 4 years it's been.
It's been awesome. Cheers to both of you. This is great.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we got to get CJ a mug.
We do.
I've got a fake mug here. Cheers.
Okay.
Nice. No, we got to get you a Take a Cue mug.
Yeah, we do.
I would love a Take a Cue mug.
We got to put like a CJ right there.
Yeah,
peeking up from under the.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Like peeking up from under it. I love it.
That'll be fun. All right, we'll make that happen. Yeah, these were a gift from Tom after season 1.
I think so.
Yeah. We made Eric open it on air so that Tom was like, "Oh, this is just a gift to make sure there's a season 2."
Live unboxing.
Yeah.
Little did we know at that point we'd be here 50 episodes later after our first one. CJ, it's been a while. Actually, I think the last time we saw you was in September. What's going on? How's life as a first-year teacher in a tenure track position?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. It feels like I'm finally really doing the thing. It's interesting to reflect back on how much I've grown on the pod, and now that I'm actually like doing what I set out to do. I'm having a great time as a music teacher. I've had our first musical, our first concert. I had my first portfolio review. We're finally playing Hot Cross Buns on the recorder. Like, we're checking all the boxes.
Nice.
It's great. But I feel like I'm finally settling into the position I was meant to do. My students are starting to buy in. Our rapport is strong. I'm getting a lot of I don't want to go back to class. I wish I could just stay in band forever. Those comments that you always hope for when you're leading up to your first job. So I'm doing good. Outside school, I got a cat. She's the best thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. I'm rock climbing.
What's the cat's name?
Time. Her name is Freya. She's 13. She's deaf and polydactyl. So she has 8 toes on each front paw. And she's just amazing. And she can't hear any of my music, so she'll just sit at my feet while I'm playing the bassoon. So I can't complain. Yeah.
She's got to feel something,
Yeah. She feels the vibrations. So it's good. It's good.
That's
Things are
so
going
cool.
great.
That's really good. So back to your first year, any like stories, any blunders, any like, oh, I did this. You never do that. Like anything like that come out of the first few months?
I think a lot of the ones that I'm like, I can't believe I did that. My brain has already wiped away. Like scrub. Hope I don't remember it. But I think my biggest blunders have been some classroom management stuff, which is just like, it's my first year and I'm figuring out my position and my place and stuff. The kids are unhinged. I don't know if it's unique to the school or unique to the time, but they say some wild stuff. And like, because I'm young, I think they view me very much on their level. So they think they can say these things to me and just like get away with it. And sometimes I'll catch them and I'll be like, guys, I'm a teacher. You can't say that to me. But most notably, what's a good one lately? Okay, so my beginner clarinets group is 10 kids. 10 kids strong, all in the same lesson, which is very big. It's my biggest
clarinet group.
Yeah, and the other day, they're all big characters as well. And the other day, before we even had the clarinets out, like as they're setting up, it was so loud. I step in front of them and I realize that I'm just like like there's just like my eyes are leaking. Like it wasn't even like, I didn't even process it was happening. I was just so overwhelmed. They're great. But no, but they're fun. They're fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
How did the 6-7 meme hit you and how did you maximize it?
We utilized it. My coworker and I are probably about 15 years apart, maybe 20 years apart. So she was less so tuned in and I forced it onto her plate. So we were doing a lot of like 16th note rhythms. Have you seen this online? Like the 6-7 do deke? We have our own Takadimi system in
yes.
You know.
Yes. You use that too. I like that.
Yeah, so we did do deke, and then reverse it. We used Sigma Riz, duku day. It was good, and the kids loved it. They were like talking about it at recess. They were telling their teachers about it. So utilized strongly. But I couldn't count. Like I couldn't count them in during folk dances. So I started breaking it by counting in Spanish instead. Oh. Can't say siete. It just doesn't hit the same. So
gotcha. Oh, that's great.
I guess all this makes sense when you're like a new teacher, when you're young and fun.
Yeah, the shame was that it started coming out with like my peers and they were like, what are you talking about? And I realized that I was part of the problem.
Never part of the problem.
Yeah, I kind of killed it. Like the second I start, well, okay, so we do essential elements, right? And I swear we were between pages 6 and 7 for like 3 months.
Forever.
I'm not, it was like 12 weeks. I'm not kidding. And it just like, cause you're just like in it. That's where Hot Cross Buns is. Mary Had a Little Lamb. You start half notes and whole notes. They're all on the same page. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to assign them pages 6 and 7 again.
Like how?
Yeah. And every class, 18 classes a week or whatever I teach, is like, and it's like, it's.
Yes. I somehow in the music, there's always we always need to start at measure 67.
Always.
I don't know why.
Or 41.
Every time.
I've gotten that one a bunch.
41. It's constant. I started saying, we're going to go up through the end of measure 40. And then somebody goes, 41. And I'm like,
yeah. Gotcha.
I'm like, I didn't say that. You said that. Knock it off, So, there's no way around it. You just have to either lean in and, bury it. So, yeah.
We're going to look back on, in another 50 episodes. We're going to listen to this one and go, oh my God. I so miss the easy stuff.
Well, I've started just yelling at the kids saying, or I'm not yelling at them, but I've been saying, whenever they pop a 6-7, I'm like, y'all, that is so last year. Like, let's drop it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, CJ, are you doing any playing these days? I know like bassoon is such a integral part of your life and was while you were at school, but now you're working so much on like teaching and stuff. Are you getting a chance to play at all?
Yeah, I haven't been practicing nearly as much as I had been in college.
Join the club.
Which at first felt really bad. Like I felt guilty that the change had hit so hard. But I'm playing in a community band nearby, and it's been really exciting because most of the people in the group are either teachers or teacher adjacent. So we're all kind of in the same boat and actively doing it because we want to, not because we have to in any way. And this past week, I spent a lot of time at rehearsal, and it was nice to remember what playing music to play music felt like. During the concert, I finally felt like really in tune with my instrument again. And it was just a realization moment of, oh yeah, like this is still a big part of my personality and something that I've spent a lot of time working toward. So it was cool to do it in a different light where I didn't feel obligated to play. I just did it because I wanted to. So I'm playing as much as I can. I've been playing a lot of guitar and just rediscovering what it feels like to play music for fun. Music for myself. Yeah, it's been very helpful, and it like fulfills me a lot more going into school as well because I'm doing it just for me. So.
I love that.
That's great.
That's a good lesson for anybody out there teaching, right, Jen?
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to find something out there.
Yeah, most of us got into music not because we wanted to teach, but because we loved playing our instrument or singing or being part of the group, right? And then the teaching part usually happens a little later, I think, at least for most folks. So it's nice to remind yourself, why you did it in the first place.
What about you, Eric? Have you been doing any playing lately?
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm trying to play more. Since January, it's been show to show to show, and then I've got a couple more coming up too. So I enjoy doing that. I guess it is for enjoyment, but it's also professional. So there's some anxiety involved with that sometimes, because especially if it's a show that I don't know or it's an instrument that I'm not as comfortable on, flute, then it gets a little crazy. But yeah, we just finished a cool show. It was a one-day concert at South Orange Performing Arts Center. There's a whole bunch of Broadway musicians singing, and so we played the backup for them, music from Wicked and other Stephen Schwartz shows. I was nervous about that one because it was like all flute.
That's really neat, though.
Thank you, Jen, for the alto flute.
Oh yeah, anytime.
I appreciate it. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. But I was very, very happy when it was done because it made me nervous. Now we did How to Succeed over at a school nearby, and Annie, another school nearby. Yeah, next up is Cinderella. It's all oboe. So.
Oh yeah, that's a nice book.
But you've done that one before, right?
I did do. You weren't in Cinderella when I played that, did I?
No, but my sister was involved with it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, we did that in Livingston. That was fun. So I'm looking forward to playing. But actually, I kind of wrote in our notes here that I'm trying to simplify some areas. 2026 is going to be the first season where I'm not involved with any marching band.
Wow.
Yeah. 22 years ago, I started working with the Morristown Marching Band, and I had a talk with the director, and I said, just that timing of things and life is getting more, there's a lot more stuff going on with family, and it just was time to kind of put that to rest.
Yeah.
No marching band this year, and hopefully get a little more playing going on outside of school, but that's how it goes. I think that's an important lesson probably for some of our listeners too, is like, every once in a while, take stock of what's going on in your life, and is it something? It's like the Marie Kondo, right? It's like, does this make joy?
Does it spark joy? Yeah,
spark joy. There you go. That's it.
That's it. And I taught indoor color guard for a long time, and somebody told me once, like, you're going to grow out of that, and I could not imagine it. Like, I just couldn't. And then there was one year I was just like, oh yeah, there's no room for this anymore.
I'm done.
Like, I this is it. Like, same thing with marching band. It's like, oh yeah, there's just no space to do this the way I want to do it anymore, right? And it's just I think both of you have a little bit of the same, kind of mindset. I like, if I can't do it well, and I'm not saying you weren't doing it well, Eric, but I'm just saying if I can't throw myself at it, I have a hard time, sticking with it. So, because it's like, yeah, you want to do it your best, right? You want to put your best professional self out there. And it's,
of course.
Especially with marching stuff. It's like, yeah,
it's a lot.
Everybody's got to be on all cylinders for it to work. So,
yeah, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of mental, a lot of mental effort in there too. And, at some point, it just may not work anymore. I mean, some people do it their whole career and that's it. But yeah. But so Jen, we're here on all three of us have spring break this week.
Yes.
Woo.
Jen, what have you been up to this week so far? We're on a Wednesday.
Let's see.
We had to go back on Monday.
Yeah. I went for a bike ride this morning.
Nice.
That was really great. It's a beautiful April day here in North Jersey, and I got out on my bike after I put TJ on the bus. It's actually been lovely to just put TJ on the bus the last couple of days because we usually have to have a morning babysitter because his bus comes after we pretty much have to be at school. So that's been really nice. We did a couple days down the shore. It was windy and cold and miserable, but it was nice to get out of town. We realized we hadn't been down since like November, and that's a while for us. Also a special weekend because the UConn men and women's basketball team are both headed to the Final Four next weekend, and we are big Husky fans around here, so very excited.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's big week. So we worked really hard for that. No, just kidding. But
you really gave it your all.
Yeah, no. We're lifelong UConn fans because Tom and I met up there, and so we're actually going to be for the end of our break up in Connecticut for the games. So hopefully we'll get to connect with some friends and watch what hopefully is a very successful weekend for the Huskies, but we'll see. Anything can happen. Last night I had Livingston Symphony, so that was a nice thing. I'm playing in their April concert. We're doing Mahler 1, which is a heavy lift. I've never played it. I have the second flute book, so it's not like super high pressure for me, but everything in Mahler is high pressure, and I just it's been really cool, like digging into that piece and because it's a pretty big undertaking. Gonna do the Brahms Requiem in May with some of the players and the conductor from that group, so that'll be pretty cool. And TJ had a piano lesson this week, so he's doing it. He's taking piano lessons, and it's interesting trying to help your own kid practice. Those of you out there that have had this experience, you can't unless they ask you a direct question that you can answer. So,
yes.
Right, Rox? I know. Go see Roxy. She's on her way out. I was like, oh, bud, I can help you with this or that, but no, it's that we have someone coming to the house every week. She's a fellow band director, and he's loving it. He's doing great working with her, but like, oh man, I'm not doing a whole lot to push him there. So yeah, it's been great. So he's going to bring his piano stuff to his grandparents' house this weekend and play for them a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what's going on with everybody's groups? Now, CJ, you've got your first concert under your belt.
So I was still very much getting my bearings at the first concert. We had a post-winter break concert, and I got the flu right like the week before the concert. So I was out.
Oh, no.
And also, okay, I should mention this year has tried to kill me. Like, I've been more sick this year and more broken this year than I have been probably in the last 5 years of my life. And it's just how it goes. So I got the flu, and then the concert was the week after. So I barely saw either of my groups prior to the concert. We played Linus and Lucy in my advanced group, plus we played... So our group, our township works out of Axon on Achievement. So it's been like a different exercise for me. So we played that, and then it was also during like the Max Aura era of their lingo. So we played Aura Lee, but we called it Max Aura Lee, and we like added a cool drum beat.
Nice.
They seemed pretty proud of themselves, but it was definitely like, oh, this is my first time leading a group. The beginner band performed, but they just played a couple of like the first exercises. But our main focus was getting them to start and stop together, and I think that was successful for them. But now we're working with the advanced band. We're playing 2 pieces. Oh, and I have a jazz band, an elementary school jazz band. So we played C-Jam Blues and got them improvising a little bit. Yeah, it's been cool. It's been like a nice little like passion project for me, getting them to start like cooking and stuff like that, getting them into the lingo.
Did you start the jazz band? Like, has there been one before?
They've had one, but like I didn't really get much guidance from my predecessors, so it's kind of been like whatever we wanted it to be.
Gotcha.
So the jazz band right now is working on a chart and a head. So they're working on Cold Duck Time, which is a really fun one. I found it's like a funk head. It's cool. And then they're also working on a song called After Dark, which is a swing big band arrangement. And they seem to be having a good time with it. I've got no low brass in the advanced band, and I have no trumpets. No brass. I have one trumpet in advanced band.
Wow.
I have one trumpet in advanced band and one trombone in advanced band, but they're definitely the students who need the most support as far as like guidance and lesson work. So they're not in the jazz band. So my low brass, and I have no bassist. So my 2 bass clarinets are the ones that are holding down the fort. But they're doing a good job. And then in my advanced band, we're working on a song called Binary 0101, which is by Laura Estes. It's really fun. It's got a clapping section. And then we're also working on Groovy 8, a Randy Standy.
We just did that one.
Yeah. So, and they like it. Yeah. So it's been cool to like really dive into the work with them and stuff like that. And the beginner band, it's just refining and establishing norms and stuff. I'm much more hopeful for if I get invited back next year for what they're going to look like as a 5th grade band now that I've kind of like started them from scratch. It's been a little different with the 5th graders where I'm coming into their process halfway through.
That's one of those cool things about having, 2 years and then the whole thing kind of resets almost.
Yeah.
So good or bad, right? There are a lot of challenges with that too. Like, I can start a tradition and if I don't keep it up, it's gone. Right. And, but then there's some habits you set that are just like, oh, okay. Yeah. That now they know me, they know, the process, they know how I'm going to start rehearsal, and you can just kind of run with that in September. Yeah. Don't count on that. But nothing is a guarantee in a 2-year program. But that is kind of a cool thing, is that you could kind of see the future just enough with that core of kids that you had this year. That's cool. So, and
that's the thing too, is I went into this year kind of without a sure spot of where I wanted the kids to end. And I feel like now that I'm actually sitting in it, I'll have a much better feel next year of how I want to pace things. Because it was like a new book to me, it's new students to me, new schedule to me. So if I come back next year, I'm hoping that I'll have better milestones of what I want them to be, where I want them to be when.
Yeah. And like this, I totally get that. For me this year, I did not get there at all. We had snow like every other Monday for 2 months. And so my Monday students are way behind where I expected them to be, but my Wednesday beginners are like right on track. Mm-hmm. So, it's like that we want those things, and we could, you should absolutely have those benchmarks in mind. It's just, here we are a month away, like out of all that snow. And I still don't feel like my Monday students are where, my Wednesday students have kind of landed. So it's just that's just that year. And I'm like, you know what? They're on a fine track. It's not, they don't know any different because it's their first experience. Right. But that's, I get that. That's awesome. Kudos to you for having that vision and for next year. That's awesome. So.
Yeah. I'm impressed that you're already thinking about next year, because I remember like my first year, it was just like stay afloat, don't die. make it through the school year, and you're already thinking about next year, which is great. So good.
Well,
for you.
in an optimistic way, in the mindset of I can't wait to fix all of the things that I messed up this past year. But no, I'm definitely I'm trying to stay alive. I actually broke my elbow about a month ago, my right arm, the week of the musical. So it's just like the kind of year where you're like, wow, I can't believe the things that have gone on that I'm just pushing through to get to the end of the year. But
so Jen, how was concert season for you?
Yeah, what you playing?
Let's see. My first concert season, we did Groovy 8, we did by Randall Standridge, we did a little march. This spring, everybody in Livingston, we're trying to have a couple pieces that check the box of like America 250, making sure we have something, patriotic or, at least written by American composers on our program. So this spring, we're one of my groups is learning the national anthem. So that's good. That's been a big undertaking for them, especially the, like percussionists. Like I don't always ask them to perform roles. We talk about roles, we practice roles, we try and get our chops up. But you can't do the national anthem without a little buzz roll in there. So we're working on that a lot. We're also doing another little march called Playground Parade. Colleague recommended it to me, and he's like, yeah, if you're doing a heavy piece, pick this one because this one's a little easier and it will come together. Like no matter what group you have, this one will come together. So look that one up if you're looking for a piece in that category. And then one of my most beloved colleagues is retiring at Harrison School, Michelle Matten. So she doesn't know this yet, and I don't think she'll listen all the way through. But we're going to do a little something and dedicate it to her, and also do an arrangement of When the Saints Go Marching In. So again, to kind of check that box, America 250, and so we're rolling. I have all the beginners in our morning rehearsals now, and we're making that happen. So that's it's coming. It's not quite close enough for me to envision like the actual night very well, but that'll be there. I did just go to a fantastic district concert or two in the last week or two. That we had our Livingston Jazz Night, so that was great, and Eric's jazz band performed, crushed it, so yeah. And then
I got good kids, what can I say?
They sounded great. And we had, the combined finale was Pete Ciano's piece that he was talking about in episode 49. So that was really cool to hear all that come together. So check out episode 49 to hear from Pete. But like I said, that piece was fantastic. And we had our so my orchestra just played at our all township concert. And we did it in a different format this year. I know a lot of schools already do this, but we had everybody in the gym. It was kind of like a kaleidoscope concert, from, group to group to group. Audience stays put. How many groups did we have play that night? Was it like 9? It was a lot of groups that played and sang, and a couple from each level, and Orchestra-saurus, all 6 elementary schools. All 5th graders that play string instruments were invited to participate, and we had almost 200 students in the
amazing
elementary orchestra on the floor. It was great. It was a really good night. I like the format. I think it was really special, especially for the kids to like see. They got to like my orchestra kids just alone got to see the 8th grade orchestra,
yes,
and the high school orchestra combined with the choir. To do. A nice little finale kind of thing for the high school part. It was really cool. So
yeah, Jen, that was one of unfortunately I didn't get to see the concert because unfortunately I didn't see it. Fortunately, I was at Maggie's concert that night. But one of the things that I think kind of got away from us, the original plan for the all township concert 30 years ago. 40 years ago was to have something the night of the budget vote.
Yeah.
and to get parents out. And then while they were at the concert, they could just, jump over to the gym and vote for the budget. Right. We haven't voted in New Jersey for the budget in years because of different law changes, but the concert keeps going. And, we started kind of thinking like, if the concert is supposed to be for, the budget vote, well, that reason is gone. Is it supposed to be for recruitment? And if it is, why? Like, how are we doing that? Because once the kids would play on stage, they would go to their holding room until the concert was done. And parents would come to see their kids play and then just leave. Like, they wouldn't stay to the end of the concert.
Right. I think we all kind of rallied around the idea of we want our students to not just show up, play 2 songs and go sit in, warm up room for the rest of the night, So
the recruitment piece is so important. And I think that it sounds like that was really a positive experience. So I'm really glad it went well. And I'm glad Orchestrosaurus didn't eat anybody.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yep. It was great. That was a really special night. So
awesome. I'm sorry I missed you. I'll see it next year though.
Yes. Oh yes, you will. I think your group's on the menu. I mean on the program. So
on the menu. Yes,
Oh, that's great. So and your groups, Eric, you guys must be pretty deep in concert prep. Your concert coming up May 14th, if I remember right.
It is May 14th. Good memory. Yeah, we've got, it's a great group. The biggest I've ever had. They barely fit on the stage. There's 85 of us.
Wow.
And 16 of them are percussionists.
Cool.
So trying to find some music that worked for the group. It was a little tricky, just knowing the strengths and weaknesses of the group. But we ended up on Florence Price's The Old Boatman, which is a ballad by a composer from the late 1800s, early 1900s. And she is the first African-American composer, female African-American composer to have a piece performed by a major symphony orchestra. So The Old Boatman is a beautiful ballad, technically very easy, but musically very difficult. So the kids, I think, are taking to it very well.
Cool.
We're gonna have that one up at our festival as well in May. We're also doing Alexandra Shapiro's Paper Cut, which I've done a couple times. I might have even talked about it on another episode. Did we do that one, CJ? We didn't do Paper Cut, did we?
I don't think we did it, but I've definitely seen your group do it.
Yeah, maybe your sister did it then.
Yeah.
Or was in band in 7th grade when we did it. I don't know. It's electronic recording and band, and the kids also play sheets of paper as well as their instruments. It's a big undertaking, but it's a good experience for the kids to do something a little different. We're also doing Jack Wilde's Solstice Dance, which is a pretty straight ahead band piece that
I like that one.
Oh, you know it. Oh, good. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It has a great flute line there at the beginning.
It does. That's really fun. So
I needed to challenge my flutes this year. They are okay players, but they really needed something to up their game. So it's a nice flute melody there at the beginning by itself. And then we're also doing a student arrangement of Jonathan Colton's Still Alive from the game Portal.
Wow.
I don't know the game Portal. A lot of my kids don't know the game Portal, or at least they know it exists, but that's about it. But one of my students was like, I think this would sound good for band. So he arranged it for band. And it does sound pretty good, especially for an 8th grader arranging music for band. We're going to play it on the concert and he's going to conduct it and it's going to be fun.
Neat.
Yeah. So we've got some good stuff coming up.
That's awesome.
Good stuff coming up. Yeah. It's a nice round type of program. There's a lot of, each piece is different. We've done so much over the last 50 episodes, and I think that's over 4 years of our collective careers here. So we thought it might be a little fun for this episode to kind of take a little look back at some of the last 4 years and things that we've done, episodes that we've really enjoyed, our episodes that our audience has really enjoyed. We're also going to chat a little bit about what things have changed over the last 4 years on the pod. And, so let's take a look back.
Yeah, we have evolved quite a bit since we started this. Like our first episodes, we were in the same place at the same time. We tried to record and bottle a few episodes in the summer. And then we started the school year and we're like, oh, that is not sustainable.
Yeah.
You know? And I really enjoyed like recording face to face. That was so cool. But it like, you know, TJ was so little, you know, now he's like a self-sufficient 5-year-old. That's like an oxymoron, but like he's, you know, and he was like, you know, still barely walking when we started this, you know, so that I think that's a big thing that we, you know, that we changed, and we were doing like just audio and switched to video. Was that still during the first season that we switched to video?
I think it must have been. It was episode 11 was our first one that had
Yeah, because I didn't record with video, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was our first episode back on episode 11. And then we kind of just took it from there. We used a different... the program that we're using to record also records video. So going from audio to video really wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And also allows us then to put it on YouTube. If our listeners want to see us, they can see us. If they don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to put yourself through that if you don't want to. But
Yes.
yeah. But and we were doing like 2 episodes a month. 2 episodes a month.
I don't know how we did it, Jen.
I don't either. Like, first of all, did I have that much to say 4 years ago to talk?
Well, we tried to do it where the first, like one episode would be on a topic, and we would kind of think about it ahead of time, or we'd have a guest and we'd talk about it, and then the other episode was kind of just us talking about the week or talking about the last month professionally and what we're up to, and a little more freestyle. I think we called them like Freestyle Fridays.
That's right. And we released them on Fridays. I remember some of those episodes were really fun and really insightful. Cause we were just kind of talking off the cuff about our week. I really like that. That's yeah.
But life is busy. And so we decided at a certain point to, kind of combine the idea and just keep it at 1 episode per month. And I think that's okay.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And somehow in here, I finished my master's. And it was about this podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We did the whole Starting Off Right series. We had people on for most of the instruments, experts to talk about them. I'm still using, I don't know about you, Eric, I'm still using some of the things that people brought up, like, some of the tricks that you gave us about getting the best sound, and Jeff Bittner, same thing with like introducing the clarinet. Oh my gosh, I'm still using a lot of that stuff. So
I still use your quote of, just you can't tell them, but tell them to take your head joint and shove it into your lip.
Yeah. Just like mash it against your bottom lip and go. Yeah. That's it.
Occasionally I still have kids that still like put almost no pressure on their flute head joint, and it just does this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
The whole time.
Right.
I'm like, you gotta put a little more, weight behind it.
There you go.
But yeah, no, the Starting Off Right episodes were really good and really fun. And I still refer, if I see a question online about how to do a certain thing, sometimes I'll refer them to an episode where that topic is discussed on our Starting Off Right episodes. I mean, one of the big changes, obviously, is we took on a part-time third co-host here.
It's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that when we started the podcast, or like when I started coming on the podcast about 4 years ago, like I had just started music school. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like we talked about college auditions. Like we were still wearing masks at school. Like it was a very different time. And I feel like I'm finally reaching like full-fledged adulthood. Like I'm a real grown-up, and students look to me for like advice, and I'm like a guidance figure. Like it's crazy to see how much I've changed as a human being since we first started recording. And now I'm really doing the thing, and I feel like I'm finally settling into like what I was meant to do, and it feels good, which is a relief, because there's always that wonder of I get here and I actually don't like it, because you spend like I grew up knowing I wanted to do this, So there's always that little fear, like when you get there, like, what if I don't like it? But I do like it. And I find I'm
a lot
the
of
most
time
myself.
and energy.
Yeah.
I remember having some. That's awesome. Like we're so happy for you, and because I remember having some huge, like imposter syndrome feelings my first year or two, like just like this is so heavy. These kids, this is their first musical experience, and I can't provide them the best experience. I don't know, like I went through that for like a good year and a half. It took till probably about May of my second year to be like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the thing for me. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And over the last 2 years, I've also learned a lot about myself. Not to be like very deep, but I went through like my gender exploration journey over the last few years and like understood that I am non-binary, and finding myself as a teacher in that position has been a big moment for me. And it's been really fulfilling that my students have seen that and latched on to that and like seen that as something positive for them. So it's been really cool to see myself going into my teaching and it being received well from my students. Like, I feel like I'm at a point where if people ask me about these things, I know how to respond in a safe and like teachery way. So it's always cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely. So what other kind of, what has changed over the course of our podcast? Oh yeah. We tried the takeaways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The takeaways.
Yeah. We thought, wouldn't it be interesting if every week we just gave a little tip or trick to the, our listeners? And it turned out that most of our listeners didn't listen to them.
Yeah. No, they did not. Yeah. We thought it'd be like more consumable because they were like, 5 or 6 minutes and then just like in and out. Here's something to try. But like, I don't know. It didn't stick. I don't know. So.
That's okay. You got to try stuff and see how it goes.
Yep. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked recording the takeaways. I thought that was fun. I could like do one on my lunch break and then send it over to Eric and he'd get it out there. I thought that was kind of fun. So
yes.
Yeah. I feel like that was a lot of work for you. Eric, if you don't know, does a lot of all the, mixing and cutting and mastering and just making us look good. So alongside Riverside, this app, but like, so that's a lot of work that goes into getting this out to you all. So thanks for that, because that's just not in my wheelhouse. So.
Oh, it's fun. I like the challenge. When once you figure out your workflow, it's okay. But yeah. So we've had some really highly ranked episodes over the last 4 years. Would you like to get into some of our audience favorites, our ones that are consistently listened to more than others?
Yes, I think
you want to hear about them.
I think we should. I'd like to hear about it. So what's top of the heap?
Okay? So I took a look at our Spotify and YouTube channels and the analytics behind them. And Jen, congratulations! You are episode number 1 on the list. You are top ranked out of all the episodes. Congratulations.
Thank you. And every time that stat comes up, I say the same thing. I'm like, people just listen and then turned us off.
No, they don't.
Just kidding.
It's not how many episodes have been started. It's how many streams we've got. But episode 1, our first episode ever was Jen's like origin story. And our listeners seem to gravitate to this one and continue to keep it as our top rated episode.
Okay.
So congratulations, Jen.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Right below that, we've got episode 4, which is how to make a killer marching band with Lou Kelly. That one we did right here in my office live with the three of us.
We did. I felt like we talked for like 4 hours and somehow you distilled it down to like 50 minutes or something. I don't know how that happened. Yeah.
We did. Yeah, there was a lot to talk about, but holy cow. I mean, I've talked to other directors in the area who listened to that episode and changed the way that they coordinated their program.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a keeper. So.
Yeah. West Orange has an outstanding music program, and there is a great staff there, a wonderful staff of teachers, and Lou is kind of the marching band director, and I know he does some of the concert bands there, and he just had a lot of good wisdom to share. So if you want to make your marching band amazing, take a listen to episode 4.
Yeah. Next on the list, I bet, is John Leister's episode about interviewing and job hunting and just presenting yourself out there in front of prospective administrators and everything. I was encouraged because I was doing a few things right, and then there were some things I was doing very wrong out there. And if you're putting yourself out there, whether it's for a teaching job or not, like that is absolutely worth a listen, because he's an expert, and just he gives some good tips.
I know I listened to that one while I was in my job application process, and the place that I landed is definitely one of my dream roles. So definitely helped out on that point.
Awesome.
I know whenever I see somebody posting online on Facebook or something in a group, or we're just chatting with somebody who might be, either a new teacher or looking to change jobs or something like that, I always send them the link to this episode. And there's a second part too, which is like what to do after you get the interview.
Yeah.
But yeah, both those episodes are awesome. But our third highest ranked episode is episode 18, getting the interview and landing the job with John Leister. Episode 2 is the fourth most listened to episode, and well, that would be my origin story.
That's right.
I guess not quite as interesting as Jen's. No, it really
it's a good story. Like boy meets saxophone, boy goes teaching. No.
Boy leaves teaching, boy goes back to teaching. Yeah. No, that's a good one. You want to hear where Eric's coming from. Like that's a great one. I'm very humbled that anybody would want to listen. So, episode 5, rounding out the top 5 for our 50 episode anniversary here. We had my colleague, actually our colleague, but he teaches with me over at Heritage, Brendan Hughes, on, and we talked about how we get the kids hooked on band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
And how we keep them.
Yes, we talk a lot about our recruitment strategies, and then what we do to kind of keep them going from year to year, and not drop out of the program.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All useful stuff.
And it's funny too, I think, if I remember. But we had some good chuckles in that one too. So, yeah. We had my husband Tom on episode 16 talking about small districts. He's not in a small district anymore, but at the time, his band could fluctuate from, 30 to 60 on any given year, and it was that was cool to hear about. Like the good and bad of being in a small district and how to maximize that experience for your students. And yeah, that was cool to have him on. We were just talking about how we made that happen. Like I was downstairs recording, he was upstairs, on his own setup, and that was great to have Tom on. We should have him back and hear about his new gig, because they do things. That's a pretty special program where he landed now. So yeah, it'd be fun.
It is. One of my favorite episodes, that we had was one of my favorites is where we interviewed Carol Britton Chambers on episode 10. Mm-hmm. Yep. She talked a lot about her experience and how she started as a band director, and then became, started writing more music and working with marching bands in Texas, and now really is very well known all throughout the United States and all over the world for her music.
Yeah. And we got to hear a few of her pieces and talk through them, and that I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, for sure. That was episode 10.
Mm-hmm. Episode 40, our resident personal finance expert, Eric. That was good. I had a few people comment, not music teachers, that had listened to that one and said, yeah, I'm setting up my finances as a new teacher, and it was great to hear what you guys had to say about just things I need to think about now and in the next 5 years, 10 years, looking at retire, like that was a good one. If you want to hear how we're doing our thing with finance. So,
and I did open up a retirement fund this year. Like I'm already putting stuff in. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, made a whole budget and everything. So
cool.
Good for you. Do it now. Make it really easy when you start out, and then you just keep doing it as you get older, and you're like, well, I never had that money to begin with.
Yeah.
It's just goes out, and then you have it, 30 years later. It's perfect.
That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I really wish this episode was on the most listened to list, because I think my favorite episode was CJ's first episode, episode 9. That was really a good one. It was one of those, I think, Freestyle Fridays, right? When we had you on the first time, and that was great. It was just like, oh yeah, this is what we're missing. Like we need that voice of somebody entering, field, and I think that's like definitely in my top 5, not my favorite episode.
Yeah, agreed. Another one that I put on the list was episode 6, where I got to talk with Jen about teaching with a chronic illness. And it was a really, you shared a lot, Jen, a lot of, your personal story and your background, and how sometimes teaching, you look at a teacher and you think, wow, they're amazing. They're like, superhuman. And then you find out on top of that they're working while, battling a chronic illness. And so I just wanted to put that one on the list too, because I thought that was a really heartfelt and appreciated episode.
Thank you. That was a hard one to record, because it was like, oh, yeah, like my origin story is like, you have some anecdotes and this and that, but like, that one was tough because, it's more about the support systems you have and the support systems you build. And yeah, that's a good one. Not just because it helped me fulfill like my master's requirements and everything, but I really, like I said earlier, love the, Starting Off Right series, because I just learned so much, like just tangible, usable, like I could use this today stuff, in that series. So yeah.
And we were like 15 to 20 year veteran teachers, and I know all of we both learned a lot from these episodes.
Totally.
About starting kids off on instruments, and that's something that I don't start kids on instruments, but I still learned a lot that I bring into my teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we thought to kind of commemorate our 50th episode, we'd leave you with 50 questions band directors should ask themselves every day. No, just kidding. But we kind of distilled it down to 5 questions that new and old band directors should kind of ask themselves. And these are our opinions, of course, as every podcast has that disclaimer, but these questions kind of spark growth for us, and we just want to share that with you.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the questions that I was starting to ask myself leading into this year was, am I ready to just hit the grind and keep running? Over the summer, I worked hard at camp, but then there was like a period of a week or two where I wasn't really doing anything. And I got to the school year and I had to mentally prepare myself for the fact that my schedule and my routines were going to drastically change. And I was just going to have to get used to being really tired. And I have found that over the course of the year, that was true. I did work really hard and I did get really tired. But now that I'm settling into the flow and we're reaching this midpoint in the year, the question I've been asking myself more is, am I taking care of myself at the same time? Like, am I working really hard when I get to work and then taking a step back when I get home? And I found that now that I'm settled into the routine, the answer is yes. I'm making the space for my hobbies and not letting the work be the entire thing. And it's been meaningful to find that balance. And I'm sure it'll fluctuate a lot going over the 2 years. But the balance of, am I working really hard? And am I also looking out for myself has been a nice exploration for me this year.
Yeah. I think sometimes people get into music ed because they love music. The band was a really, sacred space for them. Or the opposite, where they just had a terrible time and they're like, I want to make sure kids don't have this. Kids have a different experience.
Oh yeah, we had that conversation on our "What's Your Why" episode.
Mm-hmm.
We and people chimed in and went back and forth on all those things.
But, I think one of the things that doesn't really get asked of, prospective music students a lot is, are you ready to work your butt off?
Yeah.
It is not easy. Playing in band is cool and you work hard at your instrument, but then having to do the other side of it is really takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you can spend 8 hours a day practicing your instrument during college, but in reality, when you get to being the teacher, that is the least important thing. I'm not teaching bassoon to my students, but I am dealing with these children's problems and behaviors and things that they need and the instruments that they're doing and stuff. And it takes a lot more than just the work you put in onto your instrument to be a teacher. Yeah. So.
And that leads perfectly into a question that I just put on the list, and that is, how do I keep all these kids in line?
If you know the answer, let me know.
Yeah, right. Jen, how do you keep them in line?
Oh, I keep them in line. Do I keep them in line? How do I keep them in line?
Sorry, I just threw that one at you. This question was not on the list until about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the more direct question is what systems do I need to fit the environment I'm in, right? And the basics are always there, right? Have mutual respect, have clear expectations, have those are the basics. But what visualizing those systems and then implementing them in a way that there's no question what everybody in the room should be doing at any given time. That's the thing. So how do I keep those kids in line? I'm right. Asking that question of yourself is so important because that's your vision, right? That's your vision for for your space, your program, your legacy, your tradition, if you want to build it up to that scale. That's a good question, Eric.
Yeah. And that was a great answer.
What were you talking about before about just having the foresight for what you want the year to look like? Mm-hmm. I think going into this year, keeping the kids in line just seemed like something that would happen. And I went back and listened to the Steel Dose rehearsal routine episode as part of my PD. Mm-hmm. I went and I listened to it, and hearing you talk about the routines that you have in place already is inspiring the gears to turn for next year of how do I want to set it up differently so that there's less opportunity for kids to just jump off the line and swim into the ocean.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of that a little bit, the question that I wanted to put on the list was can every student in the room define what success is today? Yeah. And for certain students, it's going to be, okay, can I sit down and follow the rehearsal, and just, can I follow the whole rehearsal today? That's, so that's it for some students, but have you connected enough with each of your students for them to know what their individual goals are? And then for them beyond to start to see the picture of the full group and what is success for us? What is success for me? And do they have a clear vision of that? That's my question is, can everybody in the room do that? And then of course, how can I lead everybody to that? That's the question I think we should ask ourselves.
Yeah. Another question that we came up with, I put on the list was, am I doing this because I love music or because I love working with kids? And I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive, but that's a really important question to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think about some of, the student teachers that I've seen in the past, not any of mine. But when they came to student teach, that was the first time they'd ever worked with kids. And it made me wonder, okay, if you've never had experience working with kids before, why did you go into education?
Yeah.
And some of them worked out very well. That's not a terrible thing to learn that. But it always surprises me when people have had no experience working with kids and then they become teachers.
Yeah.
Right.
And the amount of patience that we need to have, not only as teachers, but as music teachers, is so high.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can grow into it too. If it's something that, you love music, but you're like, okay, well, hey, we go into music education. Oh, I actually really like working with kids. That's certainly a possibility.
One of the questions that I see out here is, am I teaching the way I was taught simply because it's what I know? or am I teaching in the way that's best for my students? And that's been something I've been meditating on a lot this year. So I'm curious to hear what y'all have to say on that.
Yeah, I mean that is one of those things, right? You are going to end up parroting what you hear out in the world at some point, whether you know it or not, right? I mean, I know I say stuff that I've heard, Eric, I've heard you say, and I know I parrot stuff that I've heard Ed Lisk say, but I don't. In the moment, I have no idea where it comes from. It just comes out of my mouth because I think that's the right thing to do. But, you do have to keep yourself in check with that a little bit because the way you were taught certainly isn't always the best way. And, and when it is, great. Let's roll with it. That's awesome. The part about that, like, that's best for my students, right? Like, my first couple of years I taught, in northern New Jersey and much more remote than what you think of the rest of the tri-state area, being. Some of the ideas I had for this like global music program, then we had like having this understanding of why we're here and what we're doing here, as metropolitan as we are here in New Jersey, like that just wasn't quite there. It's am I teaching in the way that's best for the students in front of me? That's a good question.
Yeah. I spent a lot of my student teaching placement, I think, trying to be exactly like my co-op. And now that I'm in, and I think that I lost like some aspects of like my personality because of that, because I was trying to be a lot more like him. And now that I'm in my own classroom, I can see like it is impossible to remove myself from my teaching. Like I am so much CJ as I'm teaching that it almost feels like I'm most myself in front of the students, which has been a very big change for me because I think a lot of my college experience was putting on a persona to be the teacher. And now I feel like I'm ripping it off. Like I feel like it's just full me. And the students receive that and like send it back. Like we have some really silly moments together. But I also find that I'm taking what my students are bringing to the table and infusing it into the lessons. Something that a really cool moment that we had recently was I play music at the beginning of our setup time, like just when we're getting our instruments out and doing buzzes and doing head joint sounds. And I played a piece that I had heard, but it was in the language of Tamil, which is like a sect of India. And a very large majority of our population in the district is from India or has family from India. And the excitement and amount of knowledge that the students shared after hearing that as part of the lesson was like so informative for me. And I didn't really have that. Like we didn't really talk about a lot of different cultures when I was in my own education and when I was in my student teaching. So it was cool to see that something new from the students and like just something that I tried off the whim really land. And it's something that I'm going to try to put into my lessons more for my students going forward.
Education as a whole, like educating the whole child and this and that, like that's not a new concept, but sure. We have such a heavier emphasis, now on making sure the student is feeling safe in the environment, and that's like. I'm not saying we weren't just doing that intrinsically, but like that wasn't a word that I heard in my first couple years of teaching, like, making this learning environment safe for everyone and making it like, those things lend themselves really well to music making if you can figure out how to make that work for you, I think, like our question here is the purpose to just make great music, or is there more to it? There's definitely more to it.
Representation is something that we focus on a lot. I don't think it was ever focused on. In my experience, it was, just kind of played the music by Mikes and Jims and, not our Mike and Jim at Livingston, but, the music library was very, one-dimensional, and not because it was that way on purpose, but it just wasn't really thought about as much. And now being able to take our library and like you said, add music by people who reflect our student body is so important. So I think that's another way that, we're teaching maybe in a way that we weren't taught. And I know even since I had you, CJ, that, this is something that I've started to focus on a lot more as a teacher. And I know that certainly over the last, few decades, that's been something that a lot of teachers have taken on.
Yeah. And that kind of ties into what you were saying, Jen, too, of like, how are the students feeling while they're making the music? And as someone who, I spent a lot of time woodshedding in college and stuff, and my mindset has changed a lot regarding music. Something I'm trying to focus on beyond just, am I making great music, is like, how am I talking to myself in the process of getting to that great music, and shying kids away from saying that was bad, but how can I make it better? Like, I'm trying really hard to help the students to form good mindsets in their process instead of just processing, always moving forward. So.
Yeah. That's good.
Well said.
Yeah, definitely. And how can we serve you all as educators here at Take a Cue? Like, what's the future for us? What are we gonna do next, guys? Like, what do you guys want to do next? 50 episodes in, and I'm certainly not out of ideas, but
we enjoy chatting with each other when we can about ideas that may come up at some point, and kind of letting people know about the good stuff that we do here in Livingston, and the things that we want to do. We've got a great list of possible topics that we keep adding to every time we think of a topic. We kind of add it here. So do you want me to go through some of the topics that we've added to the list?
Yeah, hit us with some brainstorms.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the ones I wish I even remember what this was about: increasing wonder in the band room.
Like, just helping your students be more inquisitive about what you're like. How can you lead them to want to know more? Are we doing that enough? And how do you do it? So
yeah.
What
do elementary school teachers wish middle school and high school teachers knew? And admins. How to know when it's time to change districts. That's something we haven't really talked about, but Jen, you and I have had that experience several times. How to deal with an unbalanced ensemble. It sounds like, CJ, this is right up your alley this year.
Yes, please.
We've talked about weaving instruction from concert band to peripheral groups, jazz bands, marching bands, pit orchestras, things like that. Encouraging composition. We've talked about maybe ways of adding that to an episode. Communicating effectively with your colleagues, even when you disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen, you and I are really good at that because, we disagree all the time.
I'm gonna sip my tea again. So. No, it's we really don't, which is strange. But I did say to one of my colleagues once, like,
that's strange.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I did say to one of my colleagues once, like, I know we're kind of like a little bit family here because, like, we're disagreeing and we're mad at each other, but we're still having lunch. So
yeah, right.
Yep.
So yep.
Here's one that's been on the list for a while, and I don't think we've ever had the ever touched it yet. But what to do after being fired?
Non-renewed, and what's next? Yeah.
Yep. Picking a program to make your group sound amazing is another option that we've talked about. Earning another degree, opportunities for advancement. We've talked about best practices for discipline and behavior on the program from time to time, but that's another one that we've got on the list. Best and worst band apparel.
Oh yeah.
What?
I wanted to do a spring and fall fashion show, like best marching band jackets, worst marching band jackets, and then I just didn't want any of the directors that like picked out my band jackets to get offended that I anyway.
But we've got some really cool ideas on here. Some of them may come to fruition, some may not. We've talked about creating summer music programs, having one of our colleagues, Dave Gallagher and Ariel Ocasio, on here talking about their summer music program that they run here in Morristown. How to take a band trip. I can tell you all about that.
Yeah, there you go.
How to figure out who's playing the wrong notes. I don't know who put that on there. Was that you, Jen?
I don't know. I don't remember putting that on there. So,
I don't either.
Yeah, I like that though. So, sniffing them out.
Yeah. But we've got a lot of ideas, and we'll see where things go for the next 50.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, congratulations to you both for the great 50 episodes past.
Oh, thanks, CJ. And thank you so much for being a part of it and coming on and letting us kind of, peek into your journey too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. And, to our listeners, thank you for sticking with us for 50 episodes. And thanks for hanging out with us here on Take a Cue.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, because the best teaching tips sometimes show up when you least expect them.
And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review. It helps other music educators find us and keeps us motivated to share more great ideas.
And if you have a colleague who loves good tips and tricks and maybe a few laughs, tell them about the podcast. Sharing is caring, especially when it makes rehearsal months run smoother for you.
You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're at Take a Cue Podcast.
And if you've got ideas for the next 50 future episodes or a question you want us to tackle, get in touch. We'd love to hear what's on your mind.
I'm Jen Wise, reminding you to teach with your heart, and the music will follow.
I'm Eric Dunno, encouraging you to keep finding joy in every rehearsal.
And I'm CJ Margolis, learning, growing, and cheering you on from year one and beyond.
Thanks, guys. Let's get out there and make some great music.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Wow, what a smooth ending. My goodness. We were locked in.
We rolled right into it. So
if there's one smooth thing we can do, it's end the podcast.
That's right.
It's cut and run.
And this is perfect because now I get to go get my teeth cleaned and they can tell me how much I need to floss. So
that's it. Yeah. I know.
Perfect timing.
I hear that. They're like, do you floss? And I was like, sometimes.